Hello, my name is Sin, and this is a snapshot of Monster Monpiece. Now this game came out on May the 24th, 2014 for the PlayStation Vita in North America as a downloadable only title. Now Monster Monpiece is first and foremost a card game. I know that there's a lot of the controversy surrounding the various different mechanics and stuff, but overall, yep, this is a card game. Although the one controversial mechanic may be a bit of a sticking point for people. Now, normally I would run around these menus first, but let's get into a fight first, shall we? So here we are on the world map. The world map is just where the story takes place, essentially, and the single-player campaign and stuff. Here we are. In this case, the exclamation mark indicates a story event. These skull and crossbones are a enemy. There's nothing over there. Oh, whatever. That there is where I can get rub points and stuff. So whatever. You can control this map by using the left stick, the touch screen, like so, and then tap on various tiles. You can also use the pad, but it follows some sort of weird sequence. Because this entire time, I am holding up, and I don't know, I mean, there's probably a list somewhere in the game where it's just going up and down the list, or side to side on the list. But since I, the player, have no idea what that list is, well, it's not very helpful. So I recommend using the left stick or the touch screen in order to handle this. Let's go over here. We'll get into one of the battles. And I'll explain what's going on in here, as opposed to explaining it through the menus. Now, when you start off, sometimes in some of the campaign battles, just the campaign battles, not online mode, you'll have the option to either nerf yourself or buff your ally. So in this case, I can pick HQ durability 1. It'll drop my HQ durability to 1. In other words, I can only take one hit and then I lose. In return, it increases the payout for the mission. So here we go. Let's get in here. So what we get here is we have our starting hand. I have a deck of swords. So first of all, raw basics. You pick a card, and you place it on your side of the field. In this case, you place it on the blue tiles, because I am blue side. And red tiles are the enemy side. These 3 tiles in the middle are neutral, and no one can dump anything there. I'm just going to place this card. Now, the basic here is that cards come in 4 varieties. Melee, you have melee attacks, and nothing else inherently special about that. Range, you have range attacks. That means you can attack 2 or more squares away. You also have buffers, which I will get to in a second. It's better if I show you that instead of playing it. I'm just playing a melee there. I just let this turn resolve. Do I have a buffer in my hand or not? Oh, whatever. Just showed the info on this. In this case, buffer range 1. Yes, buffers actually do have different ranges on them, because... well, okay, buffer is just buff. You increase the attack only of the card 1 unit in front of it. In front of means, for example, if there is a unit in this middle tile, then this Humbala is in front of it. The 1 unit in front of it, you increase the attack of the unit in front of it by the int value of the buffer card. The range, by the way, only refers to the attack range. Either way, those guys blew up and then gave the enemy mana. Those are abilities. I'll go over those in a second. Alright, now for potentials. What potentials are... yeah, let's use the ghost, why not? Potentials are passive effects that take place on the character. So, for example, in this case, one of the potentials is Ghost will heal 1 HP every turn. So if he takes damage, and then you just heal by 1 every turn. Move right away. This is hype. I keep screwing up the name, but basically that is another potential that lets you move on the turn you play the card. Normally, when you play a card, on the turn that you play it, it can't move. Anyways, let's just dump you here. I'll keep playing. Now for abilities. Assuming I've done this right. Yep. Have I? No! 5 mana. Okay, never mind. How am I gonna do this? Alright, I'm just gonna hold off on this for a second then. And instead of abilities, I'm going to show you fusion. Now, fusion is where, if you can see the species type, in this case beast, what you do is you fuse two species of the same type together. So, for example, I cannot fuse it with a demi-human or nature type. Oh wait, that's the enemy, never mind. But you can fuse it beast with beast. What it does is it adds their attack and health stats together. As an extra note, if, for example, the unit has taken damage, then what it counts the unit as is it adds their max HP together, and you can heal them up, etc. So it just lets you increase the stats of a card and lets you do bigger stuff with them. Alright, now we have the Centaur. Let's take a look at the abilities here for a second. Skills. Now, one of them is increase the attack range of a melee card. However, you can also see that it is underneath attack range, it says mana 3. That means that if I have 3 mana left after playing this card, it will cast that ability, and I will increase the attack range of the unit in front of it by 2. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pass this turn. Just let that resolve. So I'll have enough mana to cast a skill. Now I'm going to play the Centaur behind the Purple Heart. Now you can see this still goes off. And now the attack range of Purple Heart is increased by 2. So as soon as this turn resolves, I'm going to show you the window. And you can see that now type melee range 3. Yes, increases by 2, not 2-2. Which makes it kind of silly at some points, but still, it's a pretty strong card. It's handy for what it does. Quickly fuse these together so they don't die. Now the other mechanic, and you may have seen me do it already, is the auras. Have I already mentioned that? Too bad. If I have mentioned, I'm going to mention it again anyways. Essentially what happens with the auras is you have to play cards of the same color in sequence. So for example, I'm going to play this Humbala. Last turn I played a Lizard Man and fused it. This turn I'm going to play another yellow card, which is this Humbala. You can see now player 2 in the top left corner. Now when I play a third card in the... Fuck. Well, if I had been able to play a third card in a third yellow card, what would happen is I would then gain +1 attack, +1 health, and 3 mount. Okay, +1 attack and +1 health to all of my units on the field, as well as gain 3 mana. But because I can't play another one, even if I pass, then unfortunately I can't do jack shit. Because even if I pass, it immediately falls off. You have to continuously play 3 cards in sequence. If you change to a different color, then it resets the aura. Like so. No, now it's aura blue 1. Alright, so now let's just... yeah, chuck you on the field. And now I'll hopefully be able to show you the mechanic. So now I'll play this undead. 3 in a row, and I get the bonuses. There we go. That's most of the game. One other thing that I should do before I forget, because I usually forget this. Ogre. Is items. It's an option in the bottom left corner. In this case, I prefer to use the touchscreen. You can pick one of your items here, and it has an effect. So I'm just going to pointlessly heal 1 HP to a unit. Apparently it heals all units for 1 HP. It does not take up a turn, but you can only use 1 item per battle, because you can see it doesn't work anymore. So let's go... No, I don't want to drop a Centaur. Let's drop Fia over here. I'll show you that next turn I just can't use the item anymore. Even though I'm gonna win this turn anyways. Oh wait, you can use... sorry, fuck. Well, I'm getting my facts mixed up. You can use 1 item per turn, and it does not interrupt your card. But in this case, you can see that, hey, Fruit Parfait, just use the item again. These are basically, you can use them as reactive cards, or like quick cast, spell cards, whatever the hell you want else to call them. That's basically how they work in different games. At the end of battle, you get to see your income, so funds and rub points. Left side is the base amount. Middle part is the multiplier based on your rank, as well as any other multipliers, say for example the EX bonus. There are some items that will also give you a multiplier increase of 2, etc., and then you get the final result on the right side. Either way, that was a long-ass way to do a battle. And over here, I can grab my rub points. Yay. On the map. And then apparently it unlocks more areas to get to this point. So enough of this, though. We're going to go into the menus. Let's go into the card gym first. Now, deck settings, fairly standard stuff here. In this case, just at the bottom here, it's nice that it shows you the mana curve of your deck. In this case, it's mostly mid-game with a couple of 6-drops. At the bottom, it also tells you how many of each card type that you have. Although for colors, you just kind of look manually. That's my deck over there. Decks have a minimum of 30 cards, maximum of 40 cards. Overall, I would say the deck building strategy revolves around using cards of one or two color types, or using cards of 1 or 2 racial types in order to emphasize fusion instead of the aura bonus. You also have the ability to sort them by various different things, card number. If you use the details button, then it does that. I don't know why that even in this case, you can just like flip up and down. I found that using the touchscreen for these menus is actually slightly faster. Anyways, you can use that and then use the details button instead of using the triangle button. So whatever, that's my deck. In terms of decks, I would also like to say that if you create another deck, you have to use separate cards. So for example, if you use your one Fia card in one deck, and then want to make another deck, you have to find another Fia card, that sort of thing. You can also open card packs if you have them. In this case, I don't think I have any card packs yet. I'll get to that when I get to the shop. Training allows you to fight other NPCs that you have fought before. There's other NPCs. I don't think it records on decks that you fought online or anything. Gallery just shows you the cards that you have. Now here's the mechanic. Just the mechanic. It's first crush rub. You can pick cards from within your own deck and it'll just add them back to your deck. But I prefer to use stock because otherwise it fucks up your deck somewhat. So anyways, what you do is you pick a card and you start to rub it. Yay. Let's pick... I don't know. Let's pick a Fafnir. Why not? This case... Oh, okay, let me just quickly go down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use an Enlightenment Sphere for this. What an Enlightenment Sphere does is it lets you skip the minigame completely. That's the whole point of the Enlightenment Sphere. However, they seem to be limited in number. They're pretty damn expensive in the shop. So what you normally do is you do the rubbing minigame. Let's go back to Fafnir again. Oh, actually, sorry, let's just do a Wyvern. So, well, apart from the Enlightenment Sphere, which lets you skip, you also have the ability to pick multiples at the same time. Extremely handy because, if, for example, you have 3 of these in a deck and you want all 3 to get upgraded, instead of going through the minigame 3 times, you only have to do it once. Let's just rub the Wyvern. Get on with it. You're supposed to turn the Vita sideways. Controls are you rub and gesture in the front touch. The right analog stick is the how to move the camera. So in this case, you have a bunch of various gestures. You have the rub, just single tap. You can see the different particle, like rapid tap, different particle there. And there's also pinch, that particle there. So let's just quickly get on with this. Rubber wings up. Because I think I may have failed this by taking too long. Those are various different gestures. And there's one other mode. Let's see if I can proc it or not. I don't think I can proc it because I've taken too long. And there we go. Whatever. Anyways, that's basically how the entire minigame goes. And you just tap them in various places and they moan suggestively. It'll also show you what the card, your result, ended up being like. So in this case, she gained a skill that costs 1 mana. She also gained the exhaust potential, which causes her HP to drop by 1 per turn. However, I'm going to do this minigame one more time. Oh, nah, I won't bother. Either way, I have 2 gripes with this system. 3, actually. Gripe number 1. How many times you have to do this per deck? Like, seriously, it's a crazy number of times. In this case, if you're playing without a guide, because, well, it's a niche Japanese title, it's going to be hard to find guides, and they're all going to be in Japanese. So you're going to have to find a card, rub it once, rub it twice, figure out what you want, and decide, oh, I want tier 3 for all 3 of these cards in my deck. So then you have to do the rub minigame 2 more times with every single card. You have to do that times like 10, times 20. Like, this is a number of times you have to do it. Just, it stops being sexy at that point. It's just annoying. Really annoying. I wish Enlightenment Spheres were a little bit more common. Then at the very least, you would have like a way to completely bypass the mechanic more efficiently. The second gripe I have is mostly a quality of life thing. You can see that this Wyvern on the left here is 4, 8, 5 mana. The tier above this Wyvern is a 7 mana, what was it again? I believe it was a 7 mana 6/6 with a counter potential. The problem I have is that the post rub screen is that it only shows you that the attack and HP stats have changed. Like, it doesn't put a little new icon next to the potential, next to the skills. It doesn't, like, show you that the range has changed, the mana cost has changed. It would be a nice quality of life feature to have that in a future version, and apparently this is sold well enough in Japan for that to be a thing. Either way, you can do that for various cards, and they have various different artwork. In case you didn't notice, also, when you do the rub mechanic, they kind of undress every single time, which again is one of the controversial features. Third gripe, though, is one of the gestures that I couldn't show you. The gesture is where, like, I forgot what it was called again, but basically you have to take the front and back of the Vita, pinch the entire Vita, then rub it up and down quickly, repeatedly. If you haven't figured it out yet, that's the gesture for masturbation. And the reason why I call that a gripe isn't because of the whole awkward in public thing. It still feels awkward in private, because it's just, like, as a virile male, okay, I masturbate, and I recognize the gesture, and it's just, I am not masturbating right now. Why are you making me do this motion? No, that just crosses in the line of self-conscious awkwardness. Like, I really wish that they didn't have that mechanic, especially since none of these cards actually require that mechanic to get to the end of the minigame. So, either way, that's mostly a gripe. If it spoils your enjoyment of the game, that's you, but I don't know. Anyways, off to the shop. Item room is where you can set up your various items, I believe. Yep. And off to the shop. So you can buy card packs here. In this case, I'm just going to crack open a card pack now. What I will say, well, apart from the erogenous artwork on the covers, because why not? What I've noticed is that the earlier card packs, for example, the Fertile Pack, Mystery Requiem, these are rendered obsolete later on. I'm just going to crack open an Inferno 5 here. You can buy multiple packs at the same time if you so desire. You can open them using the front touch or the pad. In this case, you can... I mean, for the touch screen anyways, it shows you this left to right gesture. In reality, you can just touch the cards one by one or do the gesture if you wish. Now, what I want to point out here is this. You can see Jack-O-Lantern. The name is Jack-O-Lantern +1. That's my major gripe with the mechanics with the card packs. It's just that your older cards can be objectively worse than your newer cards. Because they will have the same racial, same skill layout, same potential, same all that, same amount of cost. But then have higher attack, health, and mana, whatever the hell. Like, it's an objectively better card in every way, so why does the other card exist? Is it just there to dick you over in online play, or dick you over for not buying card packs? I don't think that's good design. Like, even the shitty cards in Magic the Gathering can at least be played and not feel like you're actively gimping yourself. Like, older versions of Jack-O-Lantern, older versions of Pixie, of Gnome, of stuff like that. It feels like I'm dicking myself over because I decided to use my older cards, which kind of sucks. You can also buy your various items. Now, seal stones, what those are used for is for activating the rub minigame on certain cards. What you may have also noticed is that these seal stones are fucking expensive, because you saw earlier on that I got about 1.5k out of a battle, and these cost 45k. Even online battles are roughly like 1.5k-ish, depending on multiplier. In this case, you do actually get one green seal stone from the world map by default. You can also buy various different items from here with all these various different effects and whatnot. Whatever. There's also an online shop. You can buy online-only DLC card packs. You can buy voice packs, which allow you to modify the voice of various cards, which is mostly for the rub minigames, for, you know, the erotic moaning and stuff. But yeah, that's the whole point of it. You can also buy seal stones online, which seems like a semi-pay-to-win method of trying to coax you into buying seal stones or something, but whatever. There are also a couple of options that will cost $0. So free DLC if you can find it. Transportation. It moves you around the world map, but I've never found a reason to do so. Want me to show you why? Yeah, let me just tap at this far location. There's nothing here! That's the thing, like, why would you... Why is there a navigation option? Maybe it was... Maybe the transportation option was there as an... just so that it's there when you want to... I don't know, maybe it's just robust programming and they never made use of it. Maybe there's a feature later on in the game where you can move back on those squares and do shit. I don't know. Museum is just a whole bunch of fluffy stuff. So event CG, there are various different events in the world with images and stuff. You can probably tell from the thumbnails what this is all about. Although the entire story and even these events are surprisingly innocent. It's just the image. Movies, there only seem to be 3 movies, and 2 of them are played right at the start. And sound test, all the various background music. As you can see there, you can play the different... So yeah, all the various bits of background music. Also, one other thing I would like to note is the configuration before I show you one last menu, which I should have shown you earlier. In this case, separate audio sliders, message display speed, and auto skipping the auto skipping the story cutscenes. You also have the character for versus mode. This is where you set it as opposed to the online lobby menus or anything like that. This is just your avatar and voice pack for the character you play as in multiplayer. That's about it. You need to point that out because in case you get lost finding it. Item room, I should have shown you this earlier. Either way, this is where you can set up what your various different items are. I don't know why this doesn't have an auto stock option though. I find that slightly annoying. Like, they should have had an auto stock option, as otherwise you have to reset these after every single battle, and you go into another battle and you forget you had the items. Just it would have been really nice to have an auto stock. Item just shows you all the various items you have. Master Ring is the online feature. Basically, you play online matches, you gain Master Rings. As far as I can tell, Master Rings, the top 3 is blue side, corresponds to blue side. The bottom 3 correspond to red side. So you play on blue side, you can gradually collect the rings. You play on red side, you gradually collect those rings. When you complete the Master Ring, what you get is either a pack of cards, as a special rare cards, or you get extra rub points. It's usually not worth it to get the rub points. This also just shows you what all your seal stones are in case you weren't on the rub menu. Either way, that's basically the entire game. Oops. I forgot I was here. Either way, let's get to the verdict. Would I recommend this game? Because in all honesty, I probably would. Because even though I find the rub minigame a little bit awkward at times, it doesn't take too long. I mean, it's a time limit of 1 minute. And it usually takes less time than that if you know what you're doing. It's just... you'll get over it, really. The awkwardness. At least in my opinion. You'll just get over it. Don't worry about it too much. Then the card game itself, you have a solid amount of strategy. Like, I have played a couple of online matches, and yes, there is definitely strategy involved, even though AI is retarded as fuck. There is definitely strategy involved in this game. You have plenty of customization. You have a pretty damn solid card game, plain and simple. So, TLDR, it's a good card game. Period. As long as you ignore the rubbing thing. My name has been Vsin. I'll leave you with the rest of this little match I'm having. Thanks for watching.